Hello, good evening. Welcome to the holiday edition of Law and Disorder with your host, Ken Goldberg. And I'm Ken Goldberg, and this is a holiday, Memorial Day. I know it's Memorial Day because it's May 31st. It's 6:01 p.m. The year is 2021. Am I thoroughly versed? You bet I am. What? How many of you could have just rattled off the time, the day, the year, just like that, unhesitating, because it's right there at the bottom of my screen. You betcha. See, I got my eyeballs moving. I don't hold still. I don't just sit here like a bum on a log. I'm taking in information all the time. I'm like a data receptacle, but not just a mere receptacle, because once the data comes in, I process it at lightning speed, like a mini computer. I look down at the bottoms of my screen, lower right-hand corner. I see the time, the date. I read it, and I repeat it. Tell me I don't know how to multitask. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Hi, Chris. And hi, whoever else is listening or not listening. But then it would be silly to be here and not listening because there's not a lot else going on. This isn't a real visual kind of production. There's not a lot of graphics or animation or anything. This is really just hardcore chatter. Hardcore chatter. Maybe that should be the name of the show. Law and Disorder may be getting old. It may be wearing out, right? Hardcore chatter. Maybe I start a new website. Hardcore chatter. People go, they sign up, and they can chatter with each other. Hi, Becky. Nice to see you. And I hope you're all having a pleasant Memorial Day. I've been on the internet enough today to know not to say Happy Memorial Day or anything like that, because then you would get jumped on for being for not taking Memorial Day with the seriousness with which we are admonished to do. I myself, I'm wearing my Baton Death March medallion. What does that mean? So in 2011, that would be 10 years ago, myself, my two daughters, Anastasia and Alexandria, the three of us, accompanied by my friend, now deceased, Jerry, and his daughter, Dominique, the five of us went to White Sands missile place, and we walked 15 miles as part of the Baton Death March Memorial that they have every year. So we hiked through sand. I don't know how many hours it took. It started, we had to be there at 5 a.m. We had to leave our hotel at 4 a.m. Anyways, I won't get into the logistics of much, but we got there, and it was if there's high winds and rain and you're in sand, you're off to a bad start. Let me share that with you. We sat in the truck. I used to have a truck. The four of us, or five of us, how do we not get out of the truck and not do this? But Jerry, I'm going to get this done, was like, well, let's just go. Anyways, we got it. We did it. And and at the end, there were survivors of the Baton Death March that were there to greet us at the finish line. Most of them were in wheelchairs and canes and stuff. They're pretty old. This is World War II. So anyways, I'm wearing my medallion for my participation in the Baton Death March. By the way, we could have done, there was two parts. There was part A, part B, part 1, part 2. I don't know. One was 15 miles, the other is 26 miles. And we could have ran it, by the way, but we didn't. And I don't think I wanted to run through soft sand desert. But there were people doing the 26 mile. There were people who were there. Well, actually, out of I guess about 2,000 people, Only a couple of hundred were civilians. Most of them were actually military. And some of the military guys, one of the things they could do, it was, so there were sub classifications, was to walk with a pack. And I noticed they didn't have anything. They had to have a certain weight in the pack. So a lot of them filled their packs with rice to weight the pack, and then they marched. And then there was Extreme Team. It was a U.S. Army group of 5, I believe, and they had on full military garb. They had on packs, and they wore face masks, not the kind we're wearing, that full face mask. And they were jogging. They even had military guys stopping and going, Extreme Team, because what they were doing was pretty extreme. All right, so I have done my share along the way for veterans, for deceased veterans, living veterans, present veterans. I never spit on a veteran during the Vietnam War. I never called them a baby killer or anything like that. I've been pretty veteran friendly, dead or alive. What I didn't do is serve in the military. And you can get very animated. Hi, Kathy. Had a friend that was in the Death March. His name was Grover Tyler. How do you have a friend that would be that old? I mean, these guys were pretty old, but well, then I marched for Grover, brother. Okay. Yeah, a lot of civilians don't do it. Jerry heard about it, asked me if I would do it with him and get our kids involved, and we did. So both my daughters walked 15 miles. They were teenagers, and I walked, and Jerry and his daughter walked. Jerry and his daughter walked faster. They were done. They were probably already having lunch by the time we got to the finish line, which included a burger. Thank you. Masons. Okay, Chris knows. His name was New Grover Tyler through his participation in the Masons. Not a lot of Jewish Masons, but that's never stopped me from going to the party. Oh, wait. Never got invited to a white Masons party. I did get invited to the Black Masons party. They were all police officers in Chicago. So they were, some were county police, some were suburban police, some were Chicago police, post office police, all kinds of police, all black. And Ken, who was neither policeman nor black nor Mason, but was at the party. I'm welcomed almost everywhere I go except society. Society is the one place that I have yet to be welcomed, but I'm not dead yet. I'm only 68, so God willing, weather permitting, you will find that I will have my coming out party before it's too late. What you say, coming out, debutante, yes, like a male debutante. I will not only be introduced, I will be welcomed into general society. My foibles, my difficulties, my crimes will be forgiven, perhaps, forgotten maybe, and I will be immersed into the culture and welcomed with perhaps applause, pats on the back, who knows. In the meantime, until that happens, I intend to thrive right here on the margins of society. I intend to keep my spot. I've claimed my chair, got my name on it, right here on the fringes where I probably belong. But you know what? It's fine. Society's highly overrated. What are they doing? They're having fun, inviting each other to parties and stuff. Puh. I could have my own party if I wanted to. Speaking of parties, I went to one. Yes, I went to one last night. Now, I believe this is my first non-AA gathering since the pandemic. Yeah, pretty sure. So I've done some things that they weren't like a 12-step meeting, but they were related to my friends in 12-step, going to a concert with guys from the program. going to their houses, going to a memorial, going to a funeral, things like that. But last night, after more than a year, actually about a year and a half, I attended a party at this lady's house. She invited me. You guess what she gets. The cool thing was, it started at 4, and I learned the last time she had a party to be a few minutes late. Don't be the 4 o'clock, bang, bang, bang. So I got there at 4:30. Fashionably late. And I was the second person there. Anyways, I took a pie. That was progress. I don't always remember anything. And then there was a pool. I actually got in swim trunks. Yes, I did. Sat by the side of the pool and put my feet in it. Okay. And then they had a hot tub. So I got in the hot tub later on. And guess what? My new watch is not waterproof. Who, and I mean this in all seriousness, who the bleep makes a watch in 2021 that's not waterproof or highly water resistant, right? So I get in this hot tub for about 10 minutes, boom, watch goes blank. This is not that watch. And so, and then today, the watch was it was a used watch. I bought it at a store that sells used electronics. It's an electronic watch. I took it back. The kid says to me, "Oh, excuse me." And he goes to the computer and he looks up to see if the watch is waterproof. Comes back and says, "I'm sorry, sir, but you said you were in water." Because I walked right in. I said, "Hey, man, I got in some water." And boom, watch doesn't work. And he's like, "Well, it's not waterproof, sir," and hands me the watch back. 7 days ago, you get 14 days to return electronics, right? So I looked at him and I turned around and walked out. I'll go back tomorrow when they have their full staff, and I will get me a new watch, a new used watch. We can all bank on that, right? If I don't, what we will do tomorrow is we will talk about that store like a freaking dog. Okay? Just saying. By the way, so I got home. I looked up on Samsung's website how waterproof was my watch intended. Not for extended periods of time below 1.5 meters or something. I don't know what that means. I was in a hot tub. I was immersed up to my neck. My hand was here because I was sitting. Because hot tubs are not deep enough to be up to your neck for about 10 minutes. So that I had neither the depth nor the time spent in the water. So I thought to myself, should we stay and argue? I would so love to stay and argue this, but I hadn't looked it up yet. And I thought, well, if Samsung made a watch that's not waterproof, I really want to know about it. So it's not waterproof. It's water resistant. So I said, well, I bought this watch from you guys 5 years ago. I've gone in the water with it. Oh, well, sir, that's a Samsung Active, and that's that's okay. Really? I know you want to. Why pick on us, Ken? Why don't you hold off on all this annoying whining until you go back to the store? I don't know. I'm just impulsively stream of consciousness sharing with you. So back to the party, besides ruining my watch. So they had food, steak and salads and fruit, dynamite, and then the pièce de résistance, the disc jockey. No, he was not the pièce de résistance. The pièce de résistance was the drum circle, which I annoyed the crap out of the lady, where she had her DJ going, and I'm like, yeah, that's nice, but when are we going to do a drum circle, right? Oh, by the way, this guy made a flourless chocolate cake with ganache. I mean, I'm just telling you what he said. I don't know what he said, but I ate the flourless chocolate cake, and it was good. He baked it himself. My pie came from Kroger. I did not bake it. All right, so I was out till 11:30 last night. You can mark that, bitches, okay? You can mark it. Ken Goldberg went to a party and I stayed out till 11:30. I didn't go to bed till 12. That's like adulting. I know. Please, no applause. No applause. I just wanted to share with you. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. So here it is the day after. And did I slow down? Did I spend the day in bed? No. Got up at 6:30. I went to a 12-step meeting. I went to breakfast with some friends. I did some shopping. I went to REI. That's outdoor store. Well, it's not outdoors. The store is indoors. But when you go indoors, you buy stuff for outdoors. You know what I mean? So I went to REI because they have a sale on. Today's the last day of the sale. And I thought Memorial Day, everybody's home barbecuing and doing stuff. Perfect time to go. Last day. It's a sale. Damn, did I get that wrong? You had to wait in line to get in the store because they only allow 100 people in the store at a time. So I had to stand in line. People came out, people went in. So there's no moss gathering on this rock, this tree. Moss don't gather on a rolling stone. No moss gathering on this rolling stone. Wink, wink, nod, nudge, nudge. I know what I mean. Know what I mean. Say no more. Say no more. Okay, so it's now 6:17. I think, and you may differ your opinion, and you're welcome to disagree. I think I've done good for 17 minutes. I mean, really, when you think about it, I've been a busy guy. I don't have a lot of time to think, oh, Ken, what are you going to talk about? In fact, I don't even thinking about what I'm going to talk about. So I think in view of the fact that I didn't think about it and the fact that it's a holiday and there's not a lot for me to do, the fact of the matter is that I kept it going for what is now 18 minutes. I say that's stellar. That may put me in the, top ranks of people who do not prepare for their podcast, but podcast almost nightly. I think when they hand out the awards, for various categories of podcasting, I think I could be nominated for something because it's been 18 minutes now. And I haven't really done I've barely taken a breath. I mean, let's be honest. If you've been watching this, you already know I've barely taken a breath. I've been talking as if I had something to say the entire time. And for those of you that are smart and agile of mental function, I haven't said much anything. By the way, so this is the original. This is the watch that I was giving up on because the battery in it dies kind of too often. I looked into just getting a battery. So let me explain. Okay. This is a Garmin. It thinks I'm working out, by the way. I've told you that before. It says good workout. Keep it up. It says dynamic workout, 11 minutes and 27 seconds. So my hand waving makes my watch. So it's not exactly precise. But so this has a battery in it. Of course, right? So I looked up, well, I'm just gonna ad lib show of the year. That's it. So I looked at the battery. I could get a battery for $22. It's a small battery. Okay. So I'm like, all right, that'd be cheaper than a new watch or a new used watch. So I pull up YouTube videos. I'm getting good at this YouTube. So I'm looking. All right. First, you have to take out the bands. That's a problem. My bands are glued with super glue to the watch because the band kept falling off. So I super glued it because I'm like, I don't need the bands to come off. Well, you do need to take the bands off to change the battery. So, okay, I'm down. I super glue it again. I don't care, right? Well, so then you've got screws. You got 4 screws you got to take out. Okay. Not that big a deal. I'm watching the video. But after he takes the screws out, it doesn't open up. Now he takes a razor blade and he goes around the entire thing because this is waterproofed or something. So it's sealed. So he gets, and so finally finessed his way around. He opens up the watch. Now there's more screws. And then there's this little battery that's got a attachment. You've got to plug it in. You got to unplug one. And I'm like, dude, it is so worth just getting another watch. So that's what prompted me to acquire another watch. In the meantime, this will work. This will work. So back to ad-libbing. Oh, wait, I was ad-libbing. But now I've been ad-libbing for 21 minutes. So again, if you've been with me now since the beginning, you have submitted yourselves, I would say wisely, to a kind of 21 minutes of stream of consciousness. And it is my goal not to fail you. Sounds like a job for a jewelry store. You know what? Here's the problem, Chris. Even if you go to a jewelry store, once they break that seal, it's I've read that they're vulnerable to water anyways. So I'm like, you know what? Ooh, thunder. You know what? It's not. So there's the battery charge, then there'd be the charge to install the battery. I just decided I'd upgrade because, by the way, so the store I go to, this part of the story, sort of, it's a peripheral part of the story. I went to this store. It's called Recharge in Dallas, and I'll tell you if they're any good next time we talk. And I've gotten used phones and electronics there. They used to have a really big store with lots of used electronics and videos. I probably told you about them before recently. I think a week ago when I bought the other watch. Anyways, now they're in a little place, and all they sell are phones, tablets, and I don't know, watches. Anyways, so I've been in there. I have purchased stuff before. I bought this there a few years ago. I went in there and said, "Hey, man, how about you buy my phone? I want to go from an S7 to something else, and rather than just give the phone away or get on Facebook, whatever, and try to sell it." And the guy says, "Oh, we don't buy S7s anymore." This is a year ago. We don't buy S7s. Too old. Oh, okay. Well, so I know that I can buy a new phone cheaper on eBay, new used. Then I say, well, hey, how about you buy my watch? I don't really need it. I've got a Garmin watch that's got a GPS in it. Oh, geez, that's the S2. We stopped buying those because that's old tech now. Well, yeah, go screw yourself. Any e-bikes? No e-bikes at the store, but I thought about going by while I was out and about. I thought about going by RBM, but they're closed for the holiday. I did go by yesterday, and I did look at carbon fiber e-bikes. So some of you are saying, why is Ken suddenly talking Greek? This is a show. It's based in the United States of America. Tell him, talk English. All right, well, I'm going to. So there are different kinds of e-bikes, and the cheapest I've seen of any quality would be at least $1,000, right? And then they go up from there. Mine are a little higher end, I admit it. I don't buy them on the internet. I buy them at a bike store, and they've got some finesse. They got some touches to them, German engineering, Japanese engineering. So I decide, Chris knows this because I told him, that sometimes I want a lighter bike because my bikes on average are 55 pounds coming out of the factory. That's a lot of weight to be thrown around when you're not riding, right? So I read about carbon fiber. That's a lightweight material like plastic. And they make bikes out of it. They make a lot of things out of it. So I went there day before yesterday, and I looked, but if you want carbon fiber and you want to cut your weight, you got to pony up, baby. You got to pony up the cash. And those of you know me know I'm relatively cheap. So I wasn't about to like, I'm doing like, because it's a long time to pay for it. All right. So, and I haven't, I don't know what to tell you. Last time I saw you, I was tired. I'd done 91 miles on the bicycle. Since then, I'm proud to say I haven't done a thing. Not a thing. I've just vegetated, okay? A little grocery shopping, going to REI, having breakfast with the friends, pretty much keeping it low key. And you know what? It's raining. It's been raining off and on all day. It was raining when I came out of my 12-step meeting at 8 a.m. It had been raining. I went to breakfast. It poured during breakfast. It stopped raining. I went out. I did some things. I came back. It's raining. All right. So there you have a meteorological report from Dallas. Those of you not in Dallas, you're welcome. All right. So Becky says it's good to have low-key days. And again, you know, I should have said this early on. Excuse me, those of you on YouTube, you're not there, but someday you may be. And so I need to caution you. I'm talking to people on Facebook, so I'm talking to you too, but unless you comment, I don't know what to say to you. These people over here on the other side of my screen on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and they're communicating with me by typing in comments. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm paying attention to them. And there's a difference, everybody. There's a difference between ignoring somebody else, ignoring one person, and paying attention to another. Okay? If these people require my attention, I wish to show them that if I'm live, I'm going to give it. Okay? All right. So, back to my story. So, I've run out of things to say. So, let me tell you about baton death marching. There's Almagoro, somewhere in New Mexico. There is a space in the desert where they test missiles frequently. Jerry happens to have been a missile designer for a company called Raytheon. Raytheon's big company with a lot of military contracts. And one of the things they do a lot of is missiles. And they don't just build them for the U.S. military. They build them for other militaries that want to pay. And Jerry's job was to design missiles, various missiles. Like I remember when he got assigned to a team that had been trying to develop a new missile, Thunder, a new missile that would be launched from a jet, a fighter jet. And he was explaining to me, because we would hike and we would talk. He said, you know, the thing is, you have to design the missile, and then you have to do this so that when it launches, it doesn't destroy the jet, either by throwing it into an uncontrolled maneuver or any other way. And so he said, you know, you got to finesse it. But anyways, they take these missiles, probably not the one that's on a jet, but they go out to White Sands because it's long and wide, and they test missiles. I think that's kind of fascinating. If you live in Tucson, I did, you meet people who work at Raytheon because it's the biggest employer outside the university. And so I joined a hiking club and on meetup.com. And I was hiking with this guy. I really wasn't hiking with that guy. I rode with him to the event. It was about a 45-minute drive to the hiking. And he was telling me he was a salesman for South Korea. I don't think that's an accurate way to describe that. That sounds like a bad headline. He was a salesman for Raytheon. His territory was South Korea. He was selling missiles to the South Koreans. And I thought it was interesting because he told me some of the traditions. You have to drink when you sell to the South Koreans. They expect you to go out after work and drink. And I said to him, what if you don't drink like me? For instance, what if I was a missile salesman? I was curious. He said, well, then you have to bring a designated drinker. And I found that fascinating, that you could actually be accepted if you brought a designated drinker with you to one of these events because you yourself did not drink. And so Jerry designed missiles, and I am clueless. All I knew was he would tell me they were going to test launch, and he was a little nervous each time he designed a missile. And then he would tell me about having to tweak it, because, all right, so they launch a missile at White Sands. What they wanted to do is they wanted to go where they tell it to go. You can understand that. That's the whole point of a missile. Missiles are launched at targets. So they have a target. And so after they test them, they come back home to Tucson and they talk about, did it hit the target? If it hit the target, everybody gets a pat on the back, attaboy, good job, well done. If it strays off target, depending upon how far, might be, attaboy, we're on, we're doing good. If it goes amiss, then it's like, what the F did you guys do? How did you get this thing? Where was that job when I drank? The job of designing missiles? Where was that job when I drank? Do you think you would have been a good missile designer when you were drunk? Is that what he's saying? Ladies and gentlemen, Chris is having some sort of breakdown, some sort of flashback, unnatural flashback. He's at the moment, we'll kind of try to carry him through these next few moments where he is imagining that he's drinking and designing missiles. By the way, Jerry drank and designed missiles. Jerry got busted for drinking. Oh, designated drinker. Okay, that makes more sense. Thanks, Chris. I'm sorry. I forgot. I forgot I was talking about designated drinker. By the way, Jerry was an alcoholic, pure alcoholic. Came in the program. We became dear friends. I defended him on DUI charges, reckless driving charges, Department of Defense, security clearance charges. So we became pretty tight. He trusted me to navigate him through all these legal difficulties he was having, and we became dear friends. You know that if you're here normally, you know that I recently had dinner with 2 of his 3 daughters. It was marvelous, plus 2 of his grandkids. He's been gone about 5 years. So my boy, he left at the age of 54, courtesy of prostate cancer. All right, so back to what I wasn't talking about, the music. All right, so today I loaded up some music here, and I have no explanation. The title, Holiday Magic, that was easy. That was a gimme, right? It's a holiday. I'm going to work my magic, man. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to regale you with stories of the streets and the courts, and I'll bring my holiday magic to you at 6 o'clock, okay? Then I'm like, music. Well, take a stroll through your mind sometime. You might be surprised at what you might find, right? I mean, I was thinking to myself, good Lord, good Lord, what goes on up here? Will anybody ever figure it out? And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Please don't let me forget to come back to telling you what that's about. Then once I did the Temptations from, it's probably 69 or so on, I thought, Gil Scott-Heron, man, these are all classics, right? The Bottle. If you don't know that, you're going to jam to it. You're going to be happy you heard it, I guarantee. Then I did Little Stevie Wonder. Remember when he was a kid? He was a teenager, and he did Fingertips. That was his first big hit. And it was called Fingertips Part 2, but there really was never a Fingertips Part 1, despite that. So I gave you 2 versions. One was a black and white recording of him on stage, and it's kind of fun, but the audio really sucked. So I looked, and I found a separate one where the audio was better because, by the way, so when I was a teenager and I heard Fingertips, back 63. I was thrilled. I just couldn't believe this kid that I saw on TV was playing harmonica and singing and doing it all, and he was blind, and I was enamored with him early on. So then the last thing I looked up was Lou Rawls. You'll never find another love like mine. Come on, kids. If you don't know these jams, man, you know, that's just too bad, right? So this is just good old-fashioned music tonight. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason for it. The rhyme or reason is Holiday Magic. So I'm sitting with two friends of mine at breakfast. I want to tell you about this, and then you can chime in, although I'll probably run out the clock. So we're talking about social skills. I mean, that wasn't a topic, but we were around that issue. As most of you know, I don't have a lot of social skills. It doesn't mean I'm antisocial. I just don't have kind of social skills that most people look for in other human beings. So what happens is there was a woman with us. She's a friend of mine, a guy. And we were talking about some friends. And then she said, well, you know, I was kind of taken aback because you said to me about 2 months ago, I hadn't seen her for a year. You noted that I had lost weight. I was very pleased to see you. And you said, yeah, you were really a mess last summer. And I'm like, what? You know, and she said, yeah, that kind of hurt my feelings. And I'm like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. You're a good friend. I just meant you look good. I mean, I'm sitting there stuttering, right? So the conversation moves on, and she says, I understand. And the conversation moves on, and she's talking about her boyfriend, the fact that they've lived together for 8 years. And I'm sitting there, I don't know what to say because I've always told her boyfriend's a little droll. Not a bad guy, he's just droll. And my other friend, Wayne, says, well, congratulations. I'm watching that, and her face lights up. She said, well, thank you. And I said, you know, I'd like to know what to say at moments like this because these things don't come to me. You know, Wayne just kind of like flowed right into, well, congratulations, good work. And I'm still sitting there going, dude's kind of droll, right? So I said, I really would like to be more like Wayne. I want to be more like the people that act nice, seemingly naturally, right? They don't seem to struggle. They seem to know the right thing to say. My forte is knowing the right thing to say after you've been shot or cut or arrested or, you know, your life is in crisis. I don't know what to say when you say, did I tell you we just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary? Okay, good job. I don't know, you know, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying. There are some circumstances where there's no crisis, none. You just have to react with some affection, some kindness, some sweetness. And I sat there and I saw Wayne and I said, you know, I spent 10 days in a van with Wayne, close to 10 days, right? And I said, you know, he's always a nice guy. He's always a nice guy. Problem is, it was just he and I most of the time. So I didn't really get to watch him being nice to people, right? So I said, I want nice people to take visual and audio clues from them about how to act in these circumstances. See, Chris is saying you say congratulations. Here's the thing. Wayne already told me that, man, 12 hours ago. You're late to the party. Here's the thing. I need to think to say congratulations. I can't wait for Chris to show up and say, oh, did you hear? She said she's been living with this guy for 8 years. You know, you should say congratulations. Being nice and appropriate in situations takes effort for me too. So Lisa understands this. It ain't rolling off me. It's not flowing, I should say. It's not flowing. Being Now, I'm a nice person. I'm not denigrating my skills as a human being. I'm not mean to people intentionally. I can be insensitive, but most of my friends already knew that. So the people don't really expect sensitivity unless they're in a crisis. And then I don't know, somehow I rise to the occasion. I'm tremendously sensitive in moments like that. But you ain't got a crisis. Don't look to me to be the nice guy because I apparently got nothing for you. And I'm willing to concede, mark this date. May 31st, 2021, Ken Goldberg has this to say on the topic. I don't think going forward that I am going to be the person I am talking about. That is, I'm not going to be that guy that defaults to congratulations or good job or whatever. I think that we have reached a point in life where you're probably going to find that Ken's good for crises, have a friend like Wayne for the more mundane celebrations. Okay, you got busted uh, uh, by the police. You're facing a prison sentence. Call Ken. Your daughter just had a baby and you're a grandparent. Call Wayne. Are you guys, you getting the theme here? If you want that kind of everyday graciousness, I suggest you have a friend for that and keep me on your list of friends. But when you're doing a attribute or, corrects or defects or whatever it is, put me down for crisis management and generally willing to be there if there's no moving of furniture involved. Okay? I know you got my number and you've already said that if you get busted, you're going to call me. And I appreciate that. That shows a certain amount of confidence. I may not want you to call, and I'll explain that. I'm not particularly enthusiastic about going back to court anytime soon. But for friends, I will try to do something. And here, if you are charged with murder, I'm not suggesting anybody go out and murder anybody. Should you be charged with murder, then I probably am going to look forward to going to court. I don't know, something about being in there. It's like a Super Bowl, right? I made it to Super Bowl. Every flipping second, every move means something. When you're in a murder trial or a major drug trial, everything can come with a consequence. So you're like on your heightened alert. Lisa says, my parents beat me down with Southern Baptist guilt so much. I felt super awkward in social scenes. My late husband was super charismatic and taught me so much about how to be. See, Lisa, I don't have an ex-husband to have taught me that. But having just said that, I'm going to catch myself and say, my second wife, Lori, she's a PR maven. She knew what to say all the time, but rather than learning from her, I just let her be the nice one. So it wasn't the learning experience that, you say you were taught by your late husband. I don't think I was available to be taught by Lori. I think I was just essentially, she can cover being nice and I'll cover the courthouse. How's that? And she would come to my trials. She was very good about coming, especially at the last day of trial. So she admired what I did. She thought I really did well in the circumstances I did. But I think I told y'all one of our biggest fights was her Christmas party. She's vice president. She's the only female vice president. It's holiday party. It's Christmas time. We're going to the Dolphus Hotel for dinner and drinks. And I'm invited as the spouse. And I don't want to wear a tie. I put on an Armani suit. That suit was, I don't have it anymore. Don't hate me. It was about $2,500. My shirt was $200. I'm good, man. The belt was like, I was dressed to the nines, and she wanted me to wear a tie. And I was like, yeah, I'm not wearing a tie. We had a fight, you know. Years later, I looked back and I thought, why didn't you just put on a tie? When Lori wanted to go to the airport, why didn't you go to the airport early? Why did you have to always make it? I don't want to get there too early. I don't want it. I don't want it. I was always like, I don't want to. You know, this I learned, and I didn't learn it from Lori. I learned it somehow from me. To don't have to be obstinate all the time. Sometimes being agreeable, being cooperative is the right thing to do. Now, I would have said to you in the past, that being cooperative was okay, but I wouldn't have said it's the right thing to do. I would have said, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll be a nice guy. I'll do it. I'll go to the airport 2 hours early. I'll buy you flowers for your birthday. Whatever we're talking about. But now, I mean, I just think that's, being nice is the right thing to do. Accommodating another human being who has relied upon you for a relationship, you should probably be a little bit more global in your accommodations other than what feels good to me. I probably told you that I drove Lori and I to Santa Fe. We drove out there. We had a nice BMW convertible, lovely drive. And she flew home because she couldn't stand the Fleabag motel that I checked us into. And she said, you didn't just go to a Fleabag motel. You stopped at 3 to ask the price and look at the rooms. You couldn't just take us to a Holiday Inn, nice clean Holiday Inn, check in and spend the night because you think it's a waste of money. So she said, I don't want to drive home with you. And she flew out of Albuquerque and said, never again. And we've never taken a road trip again. She said, next time we do something like that, I'm going to fly there. I'm going to meet you. And we had a nice place in Santa Fe when we got there, but it was the trip there. I too have a problem keeping my yes ma'ams and my screw yous in the right order. Well, then you shouldn't be lecturing me on, well, then you should say congratulations. Mr. Big Stuff, Chris, 5 minutes ago, he knew what to say. Now he's copying to the truth, which I suspected all along. Having ridden with Chris numerous times now, we've probably ridden a few hundred miles at this point, maybe 300 miles. I'm now get it, this guy's just as abrasive as anybody. So when he said, oh, you say congratulations, I'm like, Becky's probably sitting there coaching him, right? I mean, this guy doesn't flow with the cup of kindness, all right? Good guy. I'm not knocking him, but, this is more who he is. The yes ma'ams versus the screw yous, right? That's the real Chris. There he is. Screw you. See? Told you. I knew that would flow more readily from him. All right. Listen, holiday magic. I hope that those of you that stuck around long enough found that, it wasn't such a bad thing. I killed 50 minutes of your life, my life, our lives together. I probably had other subjects that had occurred to me to talk about earlier in the day, but I didn't write them down or anything. I just said, well, we'll see what I remember when I show up. I'm going to watch some TV. I understand that if I turn on Prime, which I have through my daughter, that I can watch The Marksman with Liam Neeson. I think that's his name. And he goes around. He's pretty old for a guy who plays an action hero, but what do I care? As long as people are getting shot and beat up and there's not a lot of blood, sign me up, man. Okay, and let me end on this note. The Professional with Jean Reno. I've talked about it before when I told you that Mark was here, Mark McDougall, had posted about The Professional, but the European version. And that I had taken exception with it because I thought it was a little too creepy sexually. It's about a hitman and a young girl, Natalie Portman's first role. So I'm just saying, as long as we're talking about shoot 'em ups, nothing wrong with pulling out The Professional out of your repertoire and watching it again. I mean, it's that along with Keanu Reeves and any one of those movies that he did. The 3 movies that he just did that were running on John Wick. Okay. Great way to spend the holiday. All right. By the way, one last thing. It's raining. Camera 4. I got invited to a party tonight, right? I didn't want to go. Maybe it was this afternoon. I didn't pay attention to when it was. It was a pool party. And there was going to be people there. That's how it gets started. But there was somebody there I really don't like hanging with. So I begged off. I didn't go. And it rained, and I'm thinking, karma. It's like when that monk got funny with me, like, trying to joke with me and put me down, and then a bird crapped on his bald head. And I said, no, I didn't say it. The other monk said it. Said, that's what you get for messing with Ken. Don't mess with Ken. Karma come get you. Karma, 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 karma come and get you. All right. I want y'all to have a really good rest of the evening. We're going to do some meta. I just wanted to reach out. I just want to close by being nice and saying, I'm really glad you guys were here. I have to be up early to lead meditation in the morning, but for right now, I don't have anywhere I have to be. I have some barbecue in the refrigerator and some sandwiches that I bought, pre-made sandwiches, and I'm going to watch some TV, maybe watch Liam Neeson, and that's good enough for me. So, put your hands together before your hearts. Bow your head, take a deep breath. And think to ourselves, may I be happy, healthy, and free from harm. May I be free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this practice of ours lead to a life of greater peace and comfort. May my mother and father and all my friends and all my rest of my family, I should say too, be happy and healthy, free from all forms of suffering. May they too find the path that guides them to a life of greater peace and comfort. And to those persons I find disturbing, I resent them, I have some ill will towards them. In this moment, there's no reason to pursue that mentally or emotionally, but rather to send them goodwill. So think of who those persons may be. May they be happy, healthy, free from harm, enjoying their lives at the pool party as we speak. And then to all living beings throughout the entire universe, be the recipient of our collective goodwill emanating from our hearts. May all living beings be happy, healthy, and free from harm. May they all live out their lives in safety, comfort, and peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. By the way, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Mark and Ann and Chris and Becky and Rachel, if she's out there. And I said Lisa. I said Becky. Anyways, if I didn't say anything, let me just say this. Twice now, as a result of my Facebook, 2 persons who initiate contact with me on Match.com decided that after seeing my Facebook, they did not wish to pursue any further chatter with me. I expect they never got to the end to the meta part. I think they must have watched the video where I was talking about Trump, but we've ended this in the most wonderful of fashions from day one. Never once did we not stop and send out kindness and compassion throughout the universe and to all living beings. So I don't know. I guess it's all about perspective. See you guys. I'll see you in the morning, Chris. Ciao.